Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and today we're going to be revisiting a band that I checked out possibly 2 years ago now, or around about 2 years ago now, a band called Within the Fall. Now if I remember correctly, I checked them out somewhere around about February of 2019 with a track called Night of Ebon. I think that's what it's called. I could be wrong. I might have just got the name completely wrong, I'm not sure, but anyway. And I really enjoyed that track. I thought it was a brilliant piece of music. There was a couple of little niggles, in my personal opinion, things that could have possibly been changed or done better. But, for the most part, I really, really enjoyed it. Doom metal, I've mentioned on many occasions, is possibly my favourite genre of metal. Death doom. I'm a death metal singer myself, so, it fits into all the genres that I really associate with. And like I said, I really enjoyed it. Now, a couple of months ago, I think it was the end of October, beginning of November, I think it was, they released another track called The Door To Emptiness, which is the track we're going to be looking at today, which is a lyric video as far as I'm aware, but I do have the lyrics separately up here as well for us to have a look at once we've done with the track. So, without any further ado, I think we'll jump into the track and see what we have. So, The Door To Emptiness by Within the Fall. Let's have a look.
travel to the pond of reflection. I see the invocation written on my body, the sign of life. Soon you will be undone as I lay down in the mire of the lost.
There we go. The Door to Emptiness by Within the Fall. Now, once again, I have to bring up the same issue that I had the last time I listened to him, when I listened to Night of Ebon or whatever. I'm sure that's what it was called, but I could be wrong. Now, musically, they are brilliant. It sounds great, you know, pretty heavy, very drum forward. You know, the drums are very, very prominent throughout that piece of music. And, you know, it sounds really good. You can hear the bass, you can hear the guitar, you know, each element you can hear perfectly well. Except for the vocals. Again, as I said the last time I listened to them, the vocals get drowned out. They're very quiet compared to the rest of the music. And, you know, I don't know whether they've gone for that sort of very specifically, but it sort of loses the song. You know, the music, like I said, it sounds great. The vocals, when you can hear them, are brilliantly performed. They're just too quiet compared to the music, and they sort of get drowned out by the rest of the music. I mean, there's actually a sort of chorus part in there where there's clearly two voices speaking. You know, there's the harsher vocals and then there's cleaner vocals, and it sounds possibly like there's a female voice in there, but I can't tell because it's all getting drowned out. So, you know, whilst I really like it, I still can't hear the vocals properly. And like I said, I don't know whether that's done on purpose, whether that's a stylistic choice or not. But I feel it kind of detracts from the overall experience of the song. And I said this exact same thing with the previous track that I looked at, and that, like I said, that was 2 years ago. But like I said, musically, it sounds great. You know, it was pretty hard, it was pretty heavy, and then it came in with that sort of really sort of beautiful, sort of smooth, soft, calm interlude, which then went into a guitar solo, and then we went back into the hard stuff before the end of the track. Now, for meaning wise, I really couldn't tell you if there was anything behind it. Yeah, then I was actually trying to hear the song rather than actually read along at the time, so you know, I was concentrating more on listening than I was on reading. It says, "Turn the key and unlock the dark. Turn the key and see my despair. Open my wounds and bleed with me. Open the door to emptiness. In this sanctum of loss I linger. I lose my way in halls of silence. This mirthless confinement, the unjust and dark, you sing slowly in my heart." Now, having just read that, it sounds like they're talking about. It sounds possibly like they're talking about depression, or you know, that feeling of loneliness and despair, as you know, they even say, "See my despair," you know, and open the door to emptiness. So you know, that sort of possible feeling of loss, maybe. You know, perhaps they've lost someone that was very dear to them, and you know, they're feeling this loss so immensely they don't know how to come out of this dark pit, and you know, this door that leads to nowhere. You know, this, you know, they can't see where to go from here, possibly. You know, turn the key and unlock the dark. It's like, turn the key and open the door, and you can see that there is nothing there. You know, if you open the door, you will see my despair. You will see why I am struggling so much, because there is something missing that was once there. It says, "Open my wounds and bleed with me." So suffer as I suffer, possibly meaning there. And in this sanctum of loss I linger. I lose my way in halls of silence. So again, he sort of, it sounds like they're talking about they've lost someone, and you know, they're just sort of stuck in this purgatory, not knowing what to do with themselves. And it says, "The unjust and dark, you sing slowly in my heart." So that's like, in amongst all this, you know, misery, despair, and loss, you know, he's sitting there, and the only thing keeping him company is the memory of this person, possible. Then it goes, what I can only refer to it as the chorus, because it is the only part of the song that seems to be repeated, and this is the part with the clean and the harsh vocals together. It says, "The book lies open in the library of black, my memoriam written in ash, each a story which bears my name, open the door to emptiness." And then it went into that really nice, beautiful piece of music, you know, the sort of calm, soft interlude before we got to the guitar solo. And over the top of that, at one point, there was spoken word, which was actually the clearest vocal performance of the entire track. And it says, "The last travel to the pond of reflection. I see the invocation written on my body, the sign of life. Soon you will be undone as I lay down in mire of the lost." There you go. And then we got that really good, really cool guitar solo before it came back in with the harsh vocals once again, which you could barely hear. It says, "The past you paint to these walls. I see the subtle art of struggle, and with clarity I see the pain. Caring warmth of love, you went away." And then it did that chorus bit again. "The book lies open in the library of black, my memoriam written in ash, each a story which bears my name, open the door to emptiness." So, like I said, the song sounds like it's talking about someone struggling to come to terms with the loss of someone. And, you know, all they have is the memory of this person, and they feel nothing but despair and, you know, pain, and they don't know how to deal with them. That's what it sounds like to me. And like I said, musically, a fantastic piece of music. But I know I keep digging and harping in on this, but it kind of bugs me just that little bit that the vocal performance gets so lost. You know, they mixed up the vocal style throughout the track. You could tell that much. You know, you had the harsh vocals, you had the cleaner vocals, and you had that spoken word bit. And I love it when they do that. But when the vocal performance gets lost in the music the way it does here, it's kind of disappointing, because, you know, I think it loses, you know, the actual track loses something. It detracts from the actual overall enjoyment of the track, because you're straining to listen to hear what the vocals are. You're not actually paying attention to the overall song. And, you know, you kind of lose something there. That's just my opinion. Like I said, it might be a stylistic choice by the band, but I do feel that it's something that needs to be addressed, because, you know, otherwise it just sounds like some sort of grumbling noise over the top of a great piece of music. You know, if you're not paying close enough attention, you don't actually realise that they're actually singing something. But again, that's just my personal opinion. I mean, I really liked it. I just really think that the vocal performance needs to be mixed differently. It needs to be brought a little further forward and made a little bit clearer. But again, just me. But, you know, other than that, I really liked it. Musically, fantastic. It sounded great. But I don't know what else to say on that, so I'll leave that as it is. Now, if anybody would like to suggest a track for me to react to, then please do so by all means. You can drop a comment in the comment section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you can even message me through my Patreon, where you could also help to support this channel, which would of course be a great help to me, since everything I produce for this channel gets demonetized. I make absolutely nothing from anything that I produce on this website, on this channel. So, you know, it'd be a great help to me. You know, it'd help me improve the channel. You know, maybe change this here backdrop. I've had a couple of people comment about how bad the backdrop is, although saying that it's better than it used to be when it was that sort of weird baby blue painted wall. That's why I covered it up, but, you know, I need to try and find a way to make it look better, and I'm not sure how to go about that, but anyway, I'm working on it. And, you know, supporting the channel would be a great help towards helping me do that. But anyway, I digress. There is an option in Patreon where you can get your suggestion jumped to the front of the queue, should you so desire. There is a restriction on how often you can do that, and that's just to be fair to people who suggest tracks through regular means, such as like Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube comments. And if you do suggest a track through those regular means, do know it could take me a while to get around to your suggestion, since I do get suggested so many new tracks every single day that my list grows faster than I can record the videos. But I do write down every suggestion I get, so it'll get done eventually. It just might take me a while to get around to it, I'm afraid. Also, Metalhead Reacts is a proud supporter of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, a British-based charity whose main goal is to put an end to hate crimes. And one of the facets of that is hate crimes against people of the alternative culture, which is what actually brought the foundation into being in the first place. And it's something I believe in very, very strongly, and something that gets very, very widely ignored. And, you know, that's something that I think really, really needs to change. Because every single day we hear about all these other hate crimes like sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, religious hatred, ableism. We hear these every single day, from the most violent and brutal of these crimes, where someone is brutally murdered because of the colour of their skin, or because of their sexual identity, or because of their religious beliefs, all the way down to the most petty and pathetic of these crimes, where some entitled white woman is calling the police because a family of colour are having a picnic in a public space. You know, we hear every facet of these every single day on every platform of media you can possibly imagine. But we never ever hear about these people that are getting brutally attacked and beaten to within an inch of their life just because of the music they listen to and the clothes that they wear. The last time there was any widespread coverage of this sort of thing happening was 13 years ago, when Sophie Lancaster and her boyfriend Rob Maltby were violently attacked by a group of 5 or 6 people and beaten, kicked, punched and had their heads stamped on so violently that they both ended up in comas. Now, Rob Maltby, he did thankfully survive this attack, and he was in a coma for around about a week, possibly a bit longer. I can't remember exactly how long, but he did thankfully survive. Sophie Lancaster, on the other hand, she was in a coma for 13 days before she succumbed to her injuries and she died. This young woman was 20 years old, and she was beaten to death by a group of people just because they couldn't get over the fact that she listened to different kind of music and wore different clothing to them. And, you know, when this happened, this was all over the news. It was all over the news for several weeks, months, however long. And as all things do, it eventually faded away. But the thing is, in the 13 years since that's happened, we've not heard a single thing similar happen since. But I know for a fact there have been several hundred, if not several thousand more cases just like that. And the only reason we've not heard anything about it is because no one's died. And that is unacceptable. We shouldn't have to wait for someone to lose their life before something like this gets spoken about. You know, we hear about all these other ones every single day, even down to the stupidest, tiniest, pettiest of these crimes. You know, I mean, obviously, they're still bad crimes, but when a really petty little crime is getting more attention than someone getting beaten almost to death because of their taste in music, there is something fundamentally wrong. You know, when this sort of thing gets ignored, it lets the people perpetrating these crimes think that it's okay and that they can carry on doing it because they're not going to see any comeuppance. You know, they think they can get away with it because no one cares enough to do anything. And that needs to stop. That needs to change. We cannot allow that mindset to continue. Because if we carry on that way, it's only a matter of time before what happens to Sophie Lancaster happens again. And we can't allow that to happen. You know, it's something that never should have happened in the first place, but we most certainly cannot allow it to happen again. And this is what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation is all about. They want to stop this sort of thing from ever happening again. They don't want to see another family go through what they went through when they had to watch their daughter slowly die over the course of 2 weeks. You know, nobody should have to fear leaving their home just because they like something different. Not everybody likes the same stuff. We don't all have to conform to societal norms. You know, if we all liked the same stuff, the world would be an insanely boring place. Everything would be the equivalent of the colour beige. All music would be the same. All food would be the same. All TV shows would be the same. There would be no variation to anything. The world would be boring. But you've got to accept the fact that other people like different stuff. If you don't like it, that's fine. But that doesn't give you an excuse to beat someone to within an inch of their life just because you don't like it. It's something that really gets to me. It really annoys me because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't solve anything. You know, you're not going to go up to a goth, beat them to within an inch of their life, and they're suddenly going to turn around and go, do you know what? I actually like Cardi B. It's not going to happen. Beating them half to death isn't going to change their mind. What is the point in doing it? It accomplishes nothing. All it is you showing off in front of your mates, trying to make yourself look big and clever. And I can tell you, it makes you look small and pathetic. So anyway. If you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there's a link to their website in the description below. You can go over there, find out what they're working on at the moment, find out what their main goal is, because they can explain it a hell of a lot better than I can. And if you can help them out in any small way, obviously don't feel obligated to do so, but if you can help them out in any small way, whether it's a small donation through their website or something as simple as one of these Sophie wristbands from their web store, or maybe even this one, you know, they've got a whole bunch of other stuff as well. But, you know, the smallest amount can make the biggest difference. And the sooner we get more people talking about this, the sooner we bring more recognition to the fact that this sort of thing is happening, the sooner we can help to stamp out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. But I'm going to leave out as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.